Sometimes the best way to express yourself is through speaking, and I find that this is the most effective way to express yourself. Now, some people have mastered the art of expressing themselves through speaking. I'm going to come right back with my guest for today, but in the meantime, roll the montage. Welcome to today's episode of The Underground. I'm your host, Amiola, and my guest today, my God, she expresses herself so beautifully with speech. Now, she does this thing called spoken word. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about spoken word. The Urban Dictionary describes spoken word as poetry that's intended for performance. And my next guest is, I wouldn't like to restrict her to just a spoken word artist. I'd like to call her a multi-dimensional artist. Please welcome with me to The Underground, Jumoke Adeyanju.
Thank you.
Look at that, we're twinning.
Yes.
Look at that, graphics on the shirt and then the jeans.
I love this.
I love it too. How are you?
I'm fine.
It's good to have you on the show.
Thanks for inviting me.
I don't know if you've heard of The Underground, but this is like the coolest place to be ever. Here, right
really?
here on this set. Yes,
Yeah,
something like I said.
it. Yeah, I love it.
Okay, I always try to bring attention to our set because I think it's so cool. But anyway, how are you?
I'm doing fine.
Okay,
yeah.
great. So spoken word is your main thing, right?
Yeah, well, to be honest, dance is like my first passion.
Ah.
But spoken word is, I guess it's like my entity because that's, like if you're born, the first thing that your parents expect from you is the holy word, daddy or mommy,
True.
So
true.
I feel like spoken word is everyone's entity, if you're blessed and you're able to speak actually, that's already like art,
True.
So it's just you as a person who kind of find the voice in it. So I kind of find my voice in the written word.
Got you.
So,
see, she's already or kind of finds her voice in the written word.
Yeah.
But see, I was right to describe you as a multi-dimensional artist because I didn't even.
That's a big word. I was like, okay.
It is. It's like, oh, it's not just spoken word. You're also a dancer. So, have you found ways to just like merge both spoken word and dance?
Yeah, actually, I did this. So I was an artist in residence last year at the art house.
Oh, okay.
And so I kind of had this conceptual idea of combining live painting, dance, and the written word. So as a live writing session.
Nice.
So I invited like two poets, Miss Wana.
Oh, I love Wana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's amazing. Oh my God.
Is.
Shout out to Wana. And then Chika Jones.
Okay.
So I had like two different sessions. They were doing a live writing, which was projected on the screen, or projected on the wall, so the audience could actually see how the writing process is being perceived by the writer as well. Mm-hmm. And it was like a very intimate setting because there was a soundscape and someone was like, his name is Adeshoko, amazing painter. He was doing a live painting. So everything was like happening at the same time and there was a lot of stimulus.
Oh, nice.
And I love like stimulating artists as well at the same space. Mm-hmm. And at the end of it, there was this catharsis of 3 dances. So we had Chibweze, Yele, then we had Deborah, Ayibeni, and then myself as a closing.
Dance.
Okay. So we danced the whole emotive, whatever you
expressive dancing.
Yeah, we just had like a 20-minute catharsis.
So I'm going to ask you if it's kind of personal. It's like, have you ever found yourself having some kind of like very emotional release while you're performing your dance or even your poetry?
That's a really interesting question. I feel like I had a very emotional release when I started dancing. So I always say that I started with breakdance, but to be honest, I started with krump.
So let me pause. There's been an evolution of Jumoke's dance.
Yeah, there's been an evolution everywhere, I feel like. And it's funny because I think it's equivalent to me starting writing as well. Mm-hmm. So I used to write in my diary when I was younger, and that was like my therapeutic tool. And then in school, I started doing like ghostwriting for friends, just like it was whack. It was really whack. But it was just
But ghostwriting works for a lot of people. I mean, people make money off it.
I was like 14, 15, and it was just like, whatever. But just out of fun, you know, just like some bars, like trying to rap and everything. And this was equivalent, like at the same time with me starting to crump. So both forms seem like very aggressive, but they're very vulnerable. So crump is like a very spiritual outbreak, you know, and so is hip hop as well. So it's like the whole culture. And yeah, that's how like I kind of, I mean, I got older and then I kind of like found more balance in myself, and I just replaced it with other stuff that I feel more, you know, like, so yeah.
Okay, so I was going to ask, have you ever found yourself having like some kind of emotional release while you're either performing dance or poetry, whichever one it is?
So yeah, I've experienced like emotional outbreaks, emotional releases in both forms, in different kind of forms, in different settings, in different countries. Okay. But yeah, so I guess it started with dance being more physical and the spoken word being more, I guess because it's also like you were expressing your inner thoughts to the outside world. It's like you're presenting your diary, sort of. So yeah, I got a lot of emotional, I think like memorable emotional outcomings from dance because I really easily transfer myself into trance mode. Okay. So it's a form of being myself, being just by myself, although like people are around me, but I just, you know, I just don't see them anymore. And also with performing poetry or even if it's theater, you know, if you're on stage, it's like a thing of blending out. Like you're aware that people are there, but you're just so... You're
tuned out, sort of.
Yeah.
So you can be in tune with what's coming from the inside, right?
Yeah.
Right? Do I sound like an artist?
Yeah, yes. You got it.
Okay. We're going to talk to you a little bit more after this very short break. I know you guys don't want to go anywhere, but we'll be right back with Jumoke on our set. Welcome back to The Underground. I'm still Amiola, and with me is the very beautiful Jumoke Adeyanju, who is spoken word artist, a dancer. I'm sure I've also heard that you're a lecturer.
What? Yeah, wow.
Look at that. Look at that. So I know you're not based here, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of based between different spaces, but I just moved from Berlin to London like a few months ago. Okay. Yeah.
So what is it you lecture?
So I used to lecture on necropolitics, charity politics, and Fanon. And this sounds very academic, but I'm actually into academia, just like analyzing, also like visual arts, performance, just giving it more like an academic quality.
Oh, I see. So it's like you're teaching the art.
Yeah, I'm teaching the outcome, the mental outcome of the art on society. Okay. Yeah, for example, how Black people deal with pain, for example, or how Black people deal with healing and just overcoming the colonial, you know, mental state of academia.
Is amazing.
Yeah.
Very amazing. And then before we go into, you know, the next stage of the show, I wanted to ask you as well, how do you find your rhythm? You know, when is it something that's predetermined while you're writing your poetry, or is it as you're saying the words that the rhythm comes to you? Or what is it?
So mostly I get inspired by music. So music is like my first love. Okay. So I listen to a lot of J Dilla beats in the background, or just like some instrumental that, you know. So I guess my wordings come from the beat. Okay. And if it's, sometimes I'm also inspired by silence, or in the night, just like that, I just have a poem in my head. So it's it depends on my mental state as well. Okay. Yeah.
Is there something in your head that you feel like you want to share with us right now? Like,
yeah, I think I've got a little something.
Yeah? Okay.
I haven't performed for a long time.
This would be the first time in a long time. We're ready for you, and I'm here with the screams. Let's go.
Okay.
Or the snapping. Right?
yeah, okay. The snapping. Okay.
All right.
I am bleeding, bleeding, blood that is not mine. I am bleeding, 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 blood that is yours. I'll be bleeding, bleeding, blood that is not mine. I'll be bleeding, 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 bleeding till you're gone. And if time is set, I'd wish to vanish in your arms. Only your arms will set me free, and you be the air that once belonged to me. Your tears shall water the seeds my parents implanted in me. The flowers then shall make you laugh, so loss is easier for you to bear. Across the streets of unity, we shall overcome, we shall overcome, we shall overcome. Someday, you'd start to pray that all of these stupid questions from what are you to where you from, looting our people's mind, making them turn only to drown in the shedding of blood of innocent sisters and brothers killed by the living entity of racism, that all of these atrocities may surrender to the dust you've become.
That was so good.
Yeah, thank you.
That was so good. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back with more from Jumoke on the Underground. Performing to her feature on the collective album produced by Spax, this is Jumoke Adeyanju.
Fulfill your destiny, don't you look back. Fulfill your destiny. Fulfill your destiny, don't you look back. Fulfill your destiny. Fulfill your destiny, don't you look back. And their oceans, fresh water, self-preserving, different rhythms, different motions than a wave. An archipelago of freedom that leads you to dreams that won't resist. It's your calling. It's your calling. You mistake destiny with destination while it shakes under your feet. The street and orchestra of never-ending arrivals, mystified soul. When black stars shine brighter, it's not a dreamscape anymore. Just one moment of recess is an excess of happiness. The cycle of self, non-human and godly devotion. See, you can be a river or an ocean. Fulfill your destiny, don't you look back. Fulfill your destiny. Fulfill your destiny, don't you look back.
I absolutely love it. I love music, I love poetry, I love dance. And you just embodied everything and you gave me such an amazing time today. Thank you so much for coming on the show. That was amazing. All right, that's been a very fantastic episode and very unfortunately we've come to the end for today. It's been so much fun. I've had a great time. I hope you've had a great time. There's so much art in the world and I'm certain that I don't know it all. So if you feel that there's somebody who deserves to be on this platform performing their art, whatever form that it might be, please feel free to suggest them using the handles you see on the screen. And don't forget to use the hashtag Underground, the Underground on Arcadia. Join me next time as we focus on raw talent in whatever form that it is. Until then, my name is Amiola. You have been tuned in to The Underground. I will see you next time.